Hey everybody, it's Roger with Kinsta. Today I'm joined by a new friend, Brian Jackson. Hey Brian, how are you?
Hey, we good?
Awesome. Hey, I've seen you around. Perfmatters is an amazing plugin, and obviously you worked at Kinsta at one time and really helped create the blog that we've got now. But I'm interested in learning more about like your origin story and how you got started. What first got you into the internet?
What got me into the internet? So I think the very first time this was back in the 90s or so. I know my parents, my dad was a pastor and my mom was like a part-time school teacher, so we didn't grow up with money.
Okay.
I would say we were lower bottom middle class or something. And so we didn't have a computer till later when most of my friends already had computers. I did all my school reports on this DOS. It was like a typewriter, but it had a screen. So like
Okay.
the best thing it had was a backspace button, essentially. But when we finally got a computer, I remember it was like a compact Brasario, I think. And we had like 10 hours of free dial-up internet a month.
Yeah.
It's like through Net Zero, I think.
Yep.
And so once I found the internet, the whole world opened up for me. I was like, wait, I can make a website. I can make money on just sitting in a chair here. And so that just boggled my mind. And I think ever since then, I was just always involved with computers. Throughout high school, I like built custom computers and shipped them off to different places. Like that was part of my job while I was working in high school. And then I also was like flipping CDs and DVDs on eBay. And yeah, this was back all in like the dial-up days. So that's kind of I was just hooked to like you can make money from your computer chair. That idea has always been with me.
Awesome. All right. So entrepreneur right at the start.
Pretty much.
What were you using to build those early websites with?
I mean, back then it was all just HTML websites. So I think it was like Notepad, whatever was on the early Windows, just a
Sure.
Notepad editor, and yeah, that was pretty much. And then I think eventually Dreamweaver came along,
Yep.
some point in there. I don't remember when, but
Absolutely. One of the big things that got me started was the Lynda books before lynda.com even happened. I don't know if you used
Yeah.
anything like that to kind of school yourself up.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I remember reading stuff from the library, everything I could get my hands on.
Absolutely. All right. So then moving forward a little bit, when did WordPress kind of get onto your radar?
So that was like in high school, I was building the computers. And then I started hosting websites. So I started my own hosting company, ironically,
Yeah.
in high school. And this was back in like, there were no WordPress hosts, none of that yet. And so I like crammed as many people as I could onto this one like cPanel server type of thing.
Okay.
And I didn't care about performance back then. I was just new to everything. And
Yeah.
so I had like, I think when I was done, I had about 800 clients on one server. So just not a good idea now looking back. But so that actually got too much for me to manage when I went off to college.
Okay.
I was trying to do that while going, and I just couldn't handle like the support tickets were killing me essentially. And I didn't have like the skills to like outsource it or any of that stuff at that time.
Yeah.
So I kind of like sold that business.
Nice.
But then after that, I had another itch to be like, I started a blog. And at that time, it was like, I think that was like 2008 was my first WordPress blog.
Okay.
And I was working IT at the university, and I was just wanting to share what I was learning. Like, this was like SharePoint, Novell migrations, all this IT crap.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, after that, I was always blogging ever since then. Just
Okay.
every time I stopped, I started back up again. I stopped, started back up. Flipped some websites, I think. And then I went into IT as a career kind of a thing.
Okay.
But I always realized, like, why am I not just doing WordPress? Like, this is what I like doing for fun. So I eventually got a job at KeyCDN, which is a content delivery network.
Sure.
And they were focused like the broad kind of space, though, like Laravel, like all these things. And so I started writing for them on their blog.
Okay.
And I loved the job there, like in my time there. But I was like, oh man, if I could just focus on WordPress, I would love that because I could really like even do better content if I was just
Sure.
focused on one thing. And I came across Kinsta. I was hosting my own stuff at WP Engine at the time,
Okay.
and like which was like one of the only ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Kinsta was brand new. I somehow connected with Tom on there, and
Okay.
then in a ticket, and I think he mentioned they were looking for someone and saw what I was doing at KeyCDN, and then I Skyped with Mark directly because there was like only 6 people at the company, I think, at that time.
Okay.
So he just jumped on Skype with me with Tom. We talked for a little bit, and like it just clicked kind of instantly. And then I joined Kinsta, yeah, and I started blogging, yeah, kind of hardcore WordPress for a couple of years there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, segue here. You're bringing up Skype. It just got turned completely off, right? Like today or yesterday or something.
It's sad because I have, a lot of my life was spent on Skype, to be honest.
Right, right. Okay, so you're blogging for Kinsta. It's an amazing resource. I can remember, I tell this story all the time. I was doing support at another host, and these Kinsta blogs kept coming up, like solving the issues that I was trying to do support for. And so that's what led me to reach out and get a job here. Now you're focused on plugin development and with Perfmatters. What prompted you to go into plugins?
I think it was the main thing was during my time at Kinsta that I saw. Well, actually, it was my workup blog, which has always been kind of like the side thing. We wanted to do like places to show like affiliate coupons type of thing. And so we wanted something that would like side scroll with you and you could click on and it would automatically do the affiliate link. And my brother was a WordPress developer. Like that's what he's done since college. He's always done that. And so I asked him to kind of build like this coupon plugin that we could use on the workup blog. He's always kind of been like my silent partner type of thing. And he just put that together and it was cool. We were like, okay, this is helpful. Like, and we were using that. But then while I was at Kinsta, I was realizing that like the host can only solve so much. Like no matter how great Kinsta is, like the code itself could still be crap. If you load 100 plugins on there, you're using a horrible page builder. I won't say which one. Yeah. And all that stuff is going to slow you down no matter how fast the server is. Now hosts these days, started adding like minification, image optimization, like which helps, but it's still like the code itself, they're never going to try to fix.
Sure.
So we started like playing around with like just getting rid of like core WordPress crap, like emojis or dash icon. Like if you're not using them, like just take them off your site. Like what can you get rid of out of WordPress core? And so we kind of asked Brett, my brother, to put together another plugin, just a kind of a hobby. And I started giving it out to clients just for free. And be like, hey, like I have this little plugin, you can just get rid of some of this crap. Because I was involved with a lot of the tickets at Kinsta too, like going back and forth, like optimization stuff. When we were smaller, it was kind of like everyone was doing all sorts of things.
Sure.
So, I mean, I was doing social media, blogging, helping with tickets, optimization stuff, all sorts of stuff. And the plugin just was a kind of a hobby. Saw it was growing, and people kept asking about it. And so we were like, hey, what if we just sell, like, could we make money with this, I guess, type of thing. And so my brother and I launched like EDD, easy digital downloads.
Sure. And
decided to package it up kind of as a zip for, I think it was like $25 at the time. Not expensive, and people started buying it. So that's kind of how it grew and then just kind of morphed, grew from there. So.
Okay. Would you say that that's now your full-time focus?
Yeah, the plugins definitely. Yeah, even my workup marketing blog, like I think the last time I blogged on there was like 8 months ago, like because all my time is spent on our plugins. And we have our social sharing plugin too, which is like focused on performance. So like those 2 plugins take up all day, every day, pretty much now.
Excellent. And it sounds like the real trick here is to make sure that your brother becomes a hardcore developer, and then you can just utilize that whenever you need
it. Yeah, that's the strategy. But no, we are 50-50 partners for anyone curious.
Awesome. Okay, so in the business of kind of running a plugin a company, what do you think are like if you can pass on information to other people who are, either looking to do it or maybe they've been doing it and they're having some success, but they're trying to get to the next level of making it into a real business. What areas do you think that they should really focus on? I mean, is it product? Is it marketing? Where do you see the most bang for your buck?
My honestly would be time management, to be honest. And if I had to go back in time, okay, I might think about it slightly differently. So like we use easy digital downloads.
Sure.
And this one wasn't available at the time. So like there's SureCart now, which is a newer one.
Okay.
I forget the guy running, Adam, I think something, but
okay,
it's him and another guy, I think from the Astra team behind that team, or they launched SureCart. And then there's I forget the name of the other one, but there's a couple other solutions where basically they take a little more of your money, but they handle more of the day-to-day stuff. So like VAT and tax stuff has been a big one for us.
Yeah.
And then workflow of tickets and stuff like that. Like all this little stuff just adds up to a lot of my day. And here's a good example is that recently the UK just said now to validate VAT numbers, you have to get our approved API app. Ooh. So we had to like sign up with the UK government app, get approved. And it was like, I mean, try emailing a government back and forth. It is not an easy process. So it took like 3 weeks. And like in that process, we weren't able to process UK VAT numbers anymore. And it was just like out of the blue. They're like, okay, no more public VAT validation. You got to do this app.
Oh, wow.
And stuff like that where we were using like a plugin to do the VAT stuff. And I think they were behind a little bit too with it. So, but if we were using one of these other solutions that kind of handles the VAT for you, like I'm sure they would have been like on the game. You don't have to go through the government. They handled all that stuff for you and it just kind of works. Okay. Stuff like that is very important if you want to focus just on building your plugin, marketing your plugin, because I spent many hours just on that over the last couple of weeks trying to get this stupid UK thing working. That was working fine before. So,
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great insight. That's, thinking, do you want to become, it's like, do you want to become a web host or do you want to, actually work on your product? Do you want to become an accountant or do you want to work on your product? So I think that's really sage advice and I'm sure a great takeaway for people.
And giving up, maybe a little more income to get that time back where you could, potentially make more money on marketing than spending that time doing all this, day-to-day stuff. So
absolutely. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Watch pinching your pennies too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Brian, we're getting close to the end of time here. I like to keep these short and sweet. As we wrap up, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
On my, probably on X or Twitter, Brian Lee Jackson. I am on Blue Sky too, Mastodon. And then our agency site is just forgemedia.io. That's a good one too. I always check that email too. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll have people reach out. Brian, it's great talking with you, and hopefully I'll run into you soon, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.